Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Maybe cold, maybe a little rainy, a little snowy here in Salt Lake City, but it's always beautiful in Miami, and that's where John Kimball, president of Real Salt Lake, kind enough to join us, is from right now. John, how are you, man?
Hey, John.
Hey, I'm good, guys. How are you all doing?
Not as good as you are. Not only are you in Miami, not only are you starting the season, but you see your squad go up against some guy named Messi. It's a heck of a way to start the season.
Yeah, it's amazing. I got a call from the league a couple months ago that they had this in mind, and I was just super excited to be the standalone game on Wednesday to open the season. And for us to be here in Miami and to open against Messi with a new jersey front sponsor, it's kind of a dream come true. So we're very excited.
John, where are we in terms of Major League Soccer and Real from the time you were first with Real, then went a different direction, and now back with Real? How much have things changed?
I think culturally things have changed a lot. We're still producing great teams. We've made, out of the last 6 years, we've been to 5 playoff rounds or 5 rounds of playoffs. And we've just made some great strides on the business front. And then, with our players, our academy, with the younger players coming up, we're just really happy where we're at. The new ownership has been fantastic. Ryan Smith is great to work with, and David Blitzer. They're supporting us. They're spending money. They're bringing in big players, and it's a good place in preparation for what's going to be, just an ultimate opportunity with World Cup coming in a couple of years. This league, our team, everything is really very positive.
And you don't have to share exact numbers if you don't want to, or even if you don't have them available, but is there any way to quantify how much value Messi has brought to Major League Soccer?
I was reading an article just the other day where they tried to quantify it just on the broadcast side, on the jersey front side, on the sponsorship side. And as you can imagine, it's millions and millions and millions of dollars. And to have a player, arguably in the top 5 of all players to ever play the game in the number one sport times 3 times than any other sport in the world, and to have him come to the United States is just phenomenal. And he's making a huge difference, on the field, off the field. He's still very capable as a player. And it's fun to watch him play. It's fun to be able to play against him tomorrow night. And we hope to come home with a result. We're hoping for one of our homegrown kids to nutmeg him on the field. So that'll go very viral and blow up across the world.
Well, it also feels like he's kind of that he's bought into Major League Soccer. And, you see some of these guys at their point in their career, whatever the case might be, and where they're like going through the motions and just cashing the check. But it feels like, and he has personally invested, especially on the Apple TV deal. I mean, it's good for him when the league does well, but it also feels like he's a enthusiastic partner for not just Miami, but Major League Soccer as well.
100%. And I think he sees the future. And I think he sees where this league is going. Again, I referenced World Cup being here. I mentioned this last time to you guys. This will be the largest sporting event in the history of the world to happen in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And it's all about timing. And to have Messi, Beckham kind of rolled out the carpet to get it going. But to your point, he was a little bit older in his career, still was very effective in our league. But now Messi is saying, this league is now being able to compete. And in the next, 5+ years, we'll be able to really compete on a world level with the U.S. men's team and women's teams. And, I think that's just the future of where it's going. There's just a fantastic trajectory with this sport right now. And I think America is really starting to wake up to it. The World Cup is going to be the absolute dinner bell, so it's going to be fantastic when that comes through.
Could Real Salt Lake ever get into the big-name game, like bring in a Cristiano Ronaldo? Would that be possible?
It's interesting you say that, and that's one of the things that Apple consistently talks about. Is they said, yeah, great job on bringing Messi. Now we need to bring other players into the league. It just kind of depends, what those next steps are and who would be willing to come. I think our ownership group showed last year. I mean, I believe this is still true. Last year they were in the top maybe 3 to 5 in spending for bringing players in. So they're not afraid to spend money to make our team better. At that kind of level, you never know. That's a big investment. But Miami, in reading that article that I just mentioned, they're very happy they made the investment, and it's proving to be a very positive for their organization.
Well, you certainly have a youth movement. You've got a lot of youngsters. You mentioned a lot of young players. This is an exciting time with some new players. Kind of tell us when you guys line up against Miami, what this team is going to look like.
I just sat in a presentation that Kurt Schmidt just gave to our ownership group today, and I think the average age of our team is 24 years old. Ooh. And so it gives you an idea. Last year we had some great opportunities against, for example, in the Open Cup and other in playoffs against Houston. And they're a veteran team. They've got a bunch of older players that played a long time, and we're a very young team, and we were very competitive and did a great job. And it just gives you an idea of where we are in our scope for the next 2 to 3 years. Very young, but playing well. And we now have a new captain in Chicho, who's going to be a phenomenal leader for us. It's always positive when we're playing as well as we're playing, and they're younger players. So it just kind of shows you the next couple of years are going to be solid for us.
I was reading a piece at KSLSports.com, great piece on RSL and what you guys have done in building. And you'd mentioned one of your homegrown players, Nutmeggin. You got 14 homegrown players on this team, according to this piece. Compare that to the Javi or the Raimondo or the Beckerman days. Like, how 14 homegrown? How many is that in compared to what it used to be?
Yeah, that just shows the investment and kind of the opportunity for homegrown players that Deloy Hansen started with the academy, and bringing in that investment of saying we want to invest in young players and try to grow them internally and have them play for our team, but then also put them to market so that they might be able to go abroad. I just got back from a tournament that we played in Portugal. We were there for a couple of weeks, and it's just awesome to have these young players travel like that and get exposure in Europe. Because that gives us an opportunity. Our ownership group with David Blitzer owns a number of teams in Europe, and so it's just who.
Looks like we may have lost John there for a moment. We'll try to get him back on here.
He is in Miami. He's got better things to do.
That makes sense.
He is getting ready for Lionel Messi, which better things to do.
You'd love you some Messi.
I actually do. I do, and I think in order to get Major League Soccer to where it needs to be, you got to have some of these names that bring the bell to ball. I mean, you got to have something that brings eyes to the set.
Yeah.
And I love it, man. 14 homegrown players, great. RSL doing it different in the right way, but what's going to bring millions of people is Lionel Messi.
Yes. Yeah.
That's who brings the attention and the interest. And you watched, this will be his first full season in Major League Soccer. When he jumped into Major League Soccer last year, he was the big story. Not only was the big story, he was scoring at will.
Yeah.
He was dominant, the most dominant force in Major League Soccer when he jumped in. And Miami went from a nobody, a no-name nobody, to all of a sudden they're the
biggest story.
Competing juggernaut. They're winning, and they've got the biggest name. And it made a gigantic difference. But excited for RSL to get started in their new season. And this is a pretty incredible start.
It's awesome to be able to be on that kind of stage. Now you hope, as he mentioned, that you just, you can get a result, that you look good, because there were a lot of teams that were made to look silly against Messi. And so you hope RSL has a really good performance. In fact, joining us now, John Kimball, once again, president of Real Salt Lake. All right, you mentioned Chicho, the new captain. The first captain in Real Salt Lake history was Jason Kreis. He's now back with the organization. Kind of talk about what his presence is like and what his day-to-day duties are with Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have Jason back. He's just a phenomenal leader. He's very organized, very disciplined. And so he's helping Kurt Schmidt, Tony Beltran on the team side, but also helping me on the business side. And, there is a business side of soccer in the sense of the academy and players and our Monarchs team. And Jason is being very helpful at that level, but then also working with the coaches, and Jason's focus is primarily just helping us be a better organization and having more discipline and organization, reporting up to ownership. And so we're just lucky to have somebody like that that has his name on our building and really feels home at Salt Lake, and has a lot to contribute.
Hey, why don't you talk a little bit about Xavier Eagle Mountain, because he's kind of a hero out in my parts.
Tell me about that, Hans. Why is he a hero for you guys?
Well, just because he's from Eagle Mountain. He was a resident of Eagle Mountain, and a lot of people love him out that way.
Yeah, it's just awesome to have players that come from Utah and again, are homegrown. We've got a couple kids that, as I mentioned, that traveled with us to Portugal, and to see them, advancing and growing and being a part of our organization and being given that opportunity to show, that we've got some great talent in Utah specifically. It's just really cool to see players like that come from our cities that we all know well, and get the chance to be on the world scope at this point.
I got to tell you, it is unique, and it is interesting, and it's different. When you see guys that are growing up in the communities and are more familiar with these guys in states. And John, you and I have talked about this in the past when we worked together years and years ago. We talked about this country needing to find a way to find the interest of the better athletes to jump into the sport to really culminate to what you want it to be. And it seems like you guys are able to do that now. You're able to find some athletes that aren't looking for the contact of football, but looking for the speed and agility of soccer.
Yeah, and that's kind of to the point. I mean, I still think we've got a huge opportunity for us. A lot of our best athletes haven't been playing soccer, and now I think they're making that choice to play the game. And again, when they're homegrown, to have them come up. I mean, our women's team, we've got our home game on the 16th. Very excited about the Royals. We just picked 5 players from BYU, because BYU happens to be one of the best colleges in the country for women's soccer. And these are players that are coming from our hometowns. And so we're excited to have them on our team, and excited to have, their families from Utah coming out to support. We've got some women from the University of Utah as well. They also are in the top tier of women's sports when it comes to soccer. So it's just fun. And, as you know, I mean, being homegrown yourself, it's fun to see our young athletes excel.
It is.
Hey, congratulations on the new jersey, the new kit. And I know, you and I and Hans, we spent a lot of time in the Jazz organization. We know those kind of changes aren't easy, and it goes through a lot of approval, and league and everything else has to go through it. What was that process like for you? And by the way, it looks incredible. And if you want to send over a couple 2Xs, Hans and I'd be more than happy to take those off your hands too.
Absolutely. No, we're so proud of our new jersey. It's kind of a nod to the mountains. It's a nod to Ryan Smith and the Utah Jazz organization and One Utah, and certainly our partner in Intermountain Health. We're so proud to be partnered with them. They committed to the men's jersey, the men's sleeve, and also the women's sleeve. And so they're showing, their support across all of our teams, and they're just a phenomenal group. And they're also providing all of our medical as well. And so excited to get things rolling with them. And again, to unveil that jersey in front of the world when they're watching Messi play Real Salt Lake tomorrow is just an amazing opportunity for us as well. So couldn't be more grateful for their partnership.
I'm good friends with Dave Nellis and America First, and working that partnership on the radio side and watching it work with you and America First and the field and the naming and everything, but also some of the impromptu things that you guys have done in conjunction. I just know RSL is so in tune to the community, ready to give back. And Dave said that you guys jumped into helping provide some shoes for some youth, kind of an impromptu joining because of a need because of some thieves. But pretty cool to see that partnership too, John.
Yeah, America First Credit Union is just fantastic. We just finished the sign, so when you're driving down I-15, take a look. It looks beautiful. You can see it from the freeway. And they are just so amazing, to partner. I mean, we had a program over Christmas where we were putting Adidas shoes on kids' feet, and then this opportunity with the Granite School District where somebody broke in and stole a bunch of their product to give back and work with America First. And it's these companies that really want to be involved in the community. They want to do good. They want people to be healthy and make good choices. And so to partner with the partners that we have is just, as we were talking about at the very beginning, those are some of the biggest things that have changed. We just have amazing partners that are helping us make a difference in our community.
So game tomorrow, huge one against Messi, Miami. Look, let's be honest, Messi made a lot of teams look silly last year. Just what are your expectations? What do you want to see? And obviously you'd love to have a result in some way, shape, or form, but what kind of look into the crystal ball and if you could write the script, what are you hoping to see tomorrow?
It's just an absolute honor to be able to play here in Miami against him. But to be honest, we're very competitive. This is a lifelong dream for a lot of these players, but they also want to showcase why they're professional athletes as well. And Messi is one of the best to ever play the game, and we hope that he's healthy and strong and help, our teams grow, our league grow. But we're going out for a win, and that's our intention. We want to start our season off right, and the coach has got everybody dialed in, and they're very excited. Hans, Beth, when you get up for a game, this is definitely one of those games we're up for.
Oh, man, I can't even imagine. That'd be like Scotty and I stepping on the field, getting Tom Brady behind center, and, we're defensive tackles. That's right. It's as big and as good and as incredible as it gets, and I hope people tune in. How has the Apple partnership been?
They've been fantastic, and that's what's so cool about this is literally you can watch this game around the world. And again, with our partner unveiling a jersey for the world to see, I mean, it's an amazing opportunity, and Apple is making it possible for everybody holding an iPhone and tuning into Apple TV to take a look at how the league's growing and how they're, stepping up as a partner. So we're excited to move forward with them again this year.
Well, Hans and I will be tuned in. I know everybody across the Wasatch Front will be tuned in. It'll be just an incredible opportunity. We're all fired up for it and excited to get the season started. Again, hearing the games here on the Zone as well. We appreciate that partnership. We love having you a part of the family here. It's an honor for us, and look forward to keeping it rolling here, John. Congratulations on all the off-season success, and let's get it going. Should be a fun one tomorrow.
You guys are awesome. Really appreciate all your support, and look forward to catching up with you again later.
Hey, John, tell Jason hi from Scotty and I, and then just after you say, hey, Hans Olsen says hi, say, you probably don't remember who that is, but if you do, he's a better person now than he was. That's all you got to tell him.
I will absolutely relay that information. Thank you, guys.
We're excited to have him back. All right, John.
There he is. John Kimball, President, Real Salt Lake, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.